On this episode of By the Wayside, the show that is dedicated to introducing you to creative people, I speak with the multi-talented, the multi-creative comic book creator, Howard Wong. Stick around. Everybody check out Howard Wong. Pow, 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 pow. Howard! How long do you think I can hold this, Howard Wong?
Oh, man.
And I'm keeping that in the show. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. If you haven't guessed already, I am with guest. Did I say guest? I said guest. If you haven't guessed, I'm with guest comic creator Howard Wong. Howard, thank you very much for coming on the show, taking part in what I like to refer to as an event to introduce the audience to creative people. And your titles of creativity are vast and long. 100%. Thank you again, Howard, for joining me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, your titles, long, varied, and on your website you can find, there's so many I had to write them down. Creative Development Strategist, National Geographic Mentor, Author, and Speaker. Which of these uses the biggest part of your creative process?
That's a good question. I would say creative development would be the biggest one, because usually when people ask me to play that role, it's when they have an idea but have nothing else. And that's sort of what happened with National Geographic. They had an idea of what they wanted to do. So that was like for Oceans Tomorrow, which is an ocean conservation project in Hong Kong. They wanted people to get involved. They want interaction, and they wanted to make it accessible to every single demographic. That was it, pretty much. So I, for my crazy stupid brain, I was like, we can do all these things, because they were giving me a blank check to just be creative. And they're like, okay, now can you scale it back down to this budget? And I'm like, sure. And then basically I take everything that I've learned in the past from other roles that I played. So anything from animation to comic books to toys even.
So when you're talking about creative development of certain projects or IPs or what have you in that instance, you have such a varied background. Like you talked about marketing, we touched on off camera a little bit about like your day job. Could all of those professions have a negative impact on creative development?
No. Well, yes and no. The yes is because, I like to sleep, and I don't do much of that, for one. The second part is having free time to do dumb, I used to use quotation, dumb things, to like read comic books, to watch anime, and so forth. So I have to pick and choose. Like this, recently people ask, have you read comic books? What comic books have you read recently? Like, none, because I've been catching up on a crap load of anime. So I have to pick and choose my battles for time, or not sleep at all. But that's the negative. The positive is because your brain is always on and twisting and turning. There's always a place to put that idea, that thought into action. So we have a lot of creatives from different mediums that go, I have an idea, don't know where to put it. I'm going to put it in this drawer here, this fictitious drawer, until whenever it comes up. For me, I get to go, I can put that over there, and then use that, which didn't work out there, over here, and then sort of doing this weird like juggling act. So imagine you're doing a Lego set, doing a puzzle, playing an RPG, playing a video game, and blah blah, all at the same time. which is not normal, but you that's pretty much what I do.
Yeah.
So am I bored? Never.
Sounds like it.
But am I busy? Yes. But it's a chosen. You choose to be busy.
Fair enough.
Right. So
now, is there a difference between bored and busy? Like, can you be bored while being busy?
Yes, because I find, it's going to sound weird, I find the most exciting parts, it doesn't matter which medium I'm in or media I'm in, is the creative development part. The ideation part is like, everybody's like really jazzed for it. It's like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is the project life cycle. This is what we need to hit for all these deadlines. People are like, because it's like now it becomes work, and I find that funny, because I'm like, yeah, but we agree, we loved all this part. That's the plan. It's sort of like, imagine planning for a vacation. It's like, you're excited. We're going to go to whatever place. We're going to do all these things. We're going to eat all these things. We're going to stay here and do this and whatever. And you go, okay, we have to buy tickets. We got to plan this. We got to make sure our passwords. I was like, I don't really want to do all that.
The logistics of the fun.
Yeah.
Howard, speaking of talks, you've given talks, hosted workshops all over the world. Aside from helping people to cultivate their creative minds, what do you get out of events like that?
Well, like a lot of creatives, we sort of do it in our own office or our own home, so we don't interact with a lot of folks, which is
it's only for socializing.
part of it. Honestly, it's the socialization part, and it's also to get instant feedback for things. So when you say something in the ether, you don't know how people reply to it or respond to it. But when you're dealing with people, it doesn't matter if it's kids or to adults, you get instant response. You get questions. There's like times where you think you know what you're talking about, which I never do, by the way. It's people who challenge what my brain would go, this is what this probably is, and this is the easiest way for someone to understand this.
Yeah.
For someone to go who's never done that really, go, hey, by the way, but what about this? And then now it's in my brain forever, right?
As a creative person like yourself, it's almost like you have to think outside the box. Your client or whoever or whatever project has come and put in front of you, they say, we need this done. And you go, my creative mind will now walk around the box and show you all the points and how we can get to like your finished product. The beauty of what you're saying is or how I'm interpreting it, is you give your talks and your workshops to other people, and there's always there could potentially always be that diamond in the rough who thinks exactly like you do in terms of outside the box. So you've now taken your project, you've walked around the box, that becomes a bigger box, and you take that bigger box to your events and your talks, and there's someone else who goes, this is a box. I'm going to walk around Howard's box. Yep. It's almost like a, what do you call them? A Venn diagram of creativity.
It is, yeah.
That's kind of interesting because there are creatives that might take that as, well, because yours are very teachable. Like you want to instill these ideas, and you want to show people that, you know, you can use this to be creative and take my ideas to help you develop your own creativities, which is amazing. There are some creatives that could be like, why would you say, like, I'm the teacher? You don't get to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I luckily for me, like for different, depending on what event I'm at. When there was an authors festival, sometimes you get booked back to back with other authors, so they're like presenting before you and then after you, and so you get to see what they do.
Yeah.
And I've seen some that were like, this is it, this is how we were taught, and blah blah blah, and then, you know, people always ask questions that contradict that. And I'm like, no, they're actually right about, okay. Like, I don't go up and go, well, you're wrong. But it's sort of like, there's that mode of thought where to get from A to B, to A to Z, is to follow this path that's been done.
Yes.
And I get that, because if you're a first timer, that makes sense. It's sort of like, do a comic book, so you get the idea, you do a script, you know, the artist does thumbnails, you know, go, yeah, the thumbnails are good, art, blah, 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 lettering, done. Once you know a path, then you can do other paths. It's like a vacation thing. You know, this is how we're going to get to here to here. But there's these side roads that you know that take longer, but we get to see these things.
Yeah.
And et cetera, et cetera. So I always encourage people, like, do the mundane, do the thing, do what everybody does, and then find what you like better.
Yes.
Like your path, because there's no. It'll be anything like from film, animation, comics, doesn't matter what it is, even a painting. No one really knows what happens from the idea to the end product. People just see the end product and go, this is what it is. Yeah, but the steps are totally different.
Yeah.
Right? And it can go any which way, and which makes it more interesting when you start digging. That's why people go to conventions and when you ask that question, how did you do this? How do you whatever. And sometimes I tell them, like, this is what I did for this one totally different. It's like, why? That's what happened. That's what worked. And then and people always find it fast, like, don't you just stay in one path? Like, I could, but then I would hate doing this.
Then it becomes like a factory.
Yeah.
A factory of creativity.
I mean, you can get things out faster, definitely, because you're just like, the comedic, assembly line here, next person, whatever. But when you don't know, it keeps it exciting. For me at least, it keeps it exciting, and it makes me want to come back to it. Yeah. And then it becomes the enjoyable moment versus, oh God, I got to do this again.
Here's another Smurf project.
Right. So it's a weird thing to share people. Like, this is one thing, how do we do it? And here's another thing. I mean,
the old adage is rules are meant to be broken. And at the same time, there's no rules. Just make something. So as long as you like it, I'm personally happy. I mean, I don't have to like it, but that's not, you're ultimately making a project for yourself, or you're creating something for yourself, unless I guess you're getting paid for it. But I don't get paid to make stuff, so I could just do whatever I want on my show. So I'm going to do this. This is my show. I do whatever I want. All right. No, I don't want that. You're going to see a name on my show. Here we go. Thanks, Howard, for coming in. Thanks for coming to my show. By the Wayside, the show that is dedicated to introducing you to creative people. I am, of course, still with Howard Wong, and I'm the most creative man on the planet because I've done this. Don't ask anybody. You've been nominated for countless awards. What's the first thing you think of when something that you've created has been recognized in that manner?
Ooh. Well, first, that means somebody bought to read it, which is nice. That's always a win in my book already. There. When people recognize your stuff, be it from the public, and especially for this is more of your peers, saying, "Hey, we recognize this amongst what have you, and we really like what you're doing." It's kind of this, like, it sounds awful. It's like a pat in the back in a way that you don't ask for, but it's really nice to have.
Yeah, of course.
So it's sort of like, because I worked in F&B way while back. If you're like, you were eating in a restaurant and then somebody drops off a dessert because they knew it was your birthday for free. You never asked for that. You're just there enjoying the moment with friends and family, having a dinner, and that's it. No, that extra thing makes it a lot better.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a word of like, I really want a free cake. Okay, that's why I'm going to this restaurant. It's not even that. It's not, if you are, then that's this weird like expectation that may not happen. That sort of deters you from why you're doing this in the first place, right? I like telling stories. I have I'm glad I have an outlet and other outlets that I can pursue and then explore and expand wherever this comes up with. For someone to say, yeah, I dig this enough to say, hey, I like this.
Yeah.
It means like, okay, so I'm not a crazy person. This is actually something that people enjoy, not just me.
So when you watch it, it's funny when you hear from someone like you that's been nominated for awards like this, when someone says it's always just an honor to be nominated. It really is. It's just a recognition of the hard work that you've put into something that you've absolutely loved.
Yeah.
I like that. I really do like that. Howard, don't go anywhere, because right after this, we're going to come back from a short little break. We're going to be talking about your newest work, Reponaut. You don't go anywhere. I won't go anywhere. I'm pretty sure they're not going to go anywhere. Stick around.
This is By the Wayside, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. I am still with comic creator Howard Wong. And of course, we talked a lot about your creative career, like things that make you happy, where you get your ideas from, teaching those ideas to different people. It all comes around to your current work, Reponaut. Howard, what is Reponaut?
Wow. Reponaut is a story, a sci-fi story about a person who's a repossession agent.
It's an adventure story, but it's also a story about family.
It started out as an idea to do a fun black and white space adventure, because I was talking to Keith Groucho, who's the art illustrator here too, and also a co-story developer as well. He was sketching black and white astronaut, and I literally said, that would be a cool art style for comic books. Like, you want to do one? And I was like, actually, I do have some ideas for that. Let me put something together, like a whatever plot, and then we'll see if that triggers anything. And it wasn't meant to be horror, because I just finished doing a Damn Cursed Children. I'm like, do I want to do another horror book? And then it ended up being horror. I'm like, okay, so it's horror. But then when we started talking about I started developing other characters. When he got to his daughter's character, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun, because for him to be in this really bad place and thinking it was all his fault, and then his daughter finding out it's not, and then figuring out how this relationship continues or develops, was more exciting. It sounds awful. It's more exciting to me to figure that out than the all weird crap, because I would write something and then Keith would be like, what about this? I'm like, okay, so we're gonna up the maturity level of the book to not for this age group, not this demographic, because you just moved the needle way over here. Sure. The backdrop is sci-fi. The backdrop technically is horror, but horror is also a metaphor for what happens when families and people's relationships break apart.
Yep.
Even when we launched this in Toronto Comic Con, we were like, so how are we going to pitch this? I'm like, I'm not really sure, because it's sci-fi horror, but there's more. It's like, I know.
It's a new subgenre of genre comic books, but also dramatic retellings of intergalactic family issues.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the closest. That's the best. That's
Closest.
the closest way we're gonna get, because I don't know what we're gonna do. This is weird. We made this. We should know what this is. But maybe it's not a log line. Maybe we need to do a little more, something more robust, because we broke all the rules for this one in the sense of from how we do it to the format. It's 48 pages long.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing? we could have done 20, do the traditional thing, but so by putting our own money in, it's just to tell people, like, we believe in this so much that we're willing to put out money, not knowing if anything is going to come back.
With your specific comic book writing in the past, you've taken on horrors and thrillers, superheroes, war stories, and monsters, of course. With this Space Tale, was that intentional, or was it just something that happened?
The Space Tale was intentional. I wanted to do something in sci-fi, and I wanted to do something in space because I never got to play in that area a lot. When we started out, it was really like, wasn't where it is right now. It was just seriously, kind of a space drama kind of thing, and it was very serious and whatever. But it didn't, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just didn't like connect with us, which is odd because, I mean, I watched a lot of space anime back in the day, right? Keith and I are both storytellers. Like, Keith is also a writer as well. So it's like this weird thing. I'm like, what do you think about this? And he'll push it this way. I'm like, oh, we can push it this way too. It evolved. So this series of all the things I've worked on, this has been almost like the ideation, the creative process, right to their last second.
Oh, interesting.
So even the title, I think a week before we went to print, I was like getting lunch and I like texted Keith, I'm like, hey, about the title design, why don't we change the color? He's like, Howard, no. It's the file's sent. We can't really we can't do this. I'm like, but hear me out.
even after it's finished, it's a never-ending process of creativity.
I think the funny part was I gave him like these color samples. He's like, I knew he sighed, but then he gave me this. He's like, what about this? So he usually added on to what I gave him. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, this sounds a lot better. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go with this one. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
So it was this hilarious, like, we can't do that every time. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Well, it definitely sounds like you and Keith work really well when it comes to storytelling, because you just feed off each other's creative energy. And I'm just sitting here listening to the story. So it's very interesting. And I hope people can see that in the work itself, this ever evolving piece of artwork that is Reponaut.
Yeah, I hope so, because as I said, most people look at the end product and not think about how it came to be.
Yeah.
But once you ask us how it came to be, it's literally this weird, like, almost two kids in the sandbox, like, let's make comics, and it's just you just sort of like blurting out ideas and making them work somehow, and then connecting them. That's literally what that felt like for this, where we came back to that stage of our lives where, like, let's just do it.
That's fun.
Without any inhibition to what you should and should not do. There's no hero's journal rule that we can't, there's nothing that we cannot do.
That sounds really fun.
So that's why we did this and why we love it so much. It's like, of all the things to love, it doesn't really make sense, right? But here we are. I think of all the things I've done, this is one of the most fun things I did, just in comic books, because it was never a time where I was dreaded doing it. It was a lot. It's been fun to the very end. Now,
the word bespoke often comes up when describing the way that you create. And for anyone who doesn't know, bespoke means, like I wrote down, it means custom made.
Yep. How
much of this idea of bespoke did you instill into the other storyteller, which of course is the artist Keith Gratchow? How much of quote unquote bespoke did you sort of say, like, hey, bespoke?
A lot. In most cases, when I do anything, doesn't matter which media I work in. Like, even it could be like a workshop or activation I'm doing for other company. Always, anyone who's on the creative team, I let them do their thing. And then if it goes way off the rails, that's impossible for people to connect, I sort of bring it back to a level where it can.
Yeah.
So with Keith, there are some scenes where there were some changes I did ask him for, because there's a scale of like 2 ships, and I'm like, no, make that one smaller, make it even smaller, and that kind of even bigger. It's like, okay, and then I'm like, add this to it so that people can see, because sometimes when you draw, when you write, you don't notice things that people won't see it, because because you're with it every day. And I like add this so people know that that's there. It's like, oh yeah. And so rather than that, he was just whatever he wanted. So there's some stuff where I'm like, make this as weird and creepy as possible from certain scenes. It's like, okay. And then he would draw something. I'm like, that's not what I thought about, but that's way weirder and creepier. So that's where we're going. And that's where you get the best things for these kind of output of creativity, is where you allow a person to do something fun.
Yeah.
Because if you ask them to draw, and whatever, 100 times over the same way, is it going to be anything better? Is it going to be better by the 100th time? No. It's like, tweak it in however you want each time.
So it's almost like now when I say bespoke, the whole product itself is bespoke, but also it's the idea of each individual panel in this instance is almost bespoke.
Yeah.
It's very much custom made, not for the audience, but custom made for the specific storyteller.
Yeah. I mean, Keith went off and drew it from basically a story breakdown that, I got from the plot, and then he added on to his stuff as well to it. Without knowing what dialogue was going to be there, he just went to town. So he was making it up as he went along, pretty much, based on what I had there and what we had there. And then I went off on his work to create the dialogue and how it would flow. And I changed certain things and certain tones or what have you. And it just sort of like we're feeding off each other. It's like, okay. It wasn't like a challenge, like I can do it better. It wasn't like a flex of creativity. It's more of like, okay, how can we make this story even better, and more profound and have a better connective tissue. And that's how it went, which is usually back when the ideation and scripting part is usually when that happens, roughly. And then when thumbnails come in, that's where, okay, this is what it's going to be. When the time you get the thumbnails all approved, you sort of know what the end product's going to be.
Yes.
We had no idea what the heck we were going to do into the very, even down to, hey, I'm going to change this, this dialogue here. Why? I had a new idea for this, so blah blah, and I changed everything. Okay, well that works too. So it was sort of this. We kept on staying in that weird ideation part, but applying it, sort of sprinkling this like it's magic dust throughout the whole process.
Yeah, it's an evolving piece of work. It was a consistently evolving piece of work. Now that the final issue, like the first issue, is in front of you and you read through it, do you go, I wish that I had done this, or do you go, I wish that we didn't do this? Do you lean one way or the other? Not necessarily one specific point, but is there just one way that you might lean?
I used to do that when I first started out and didn't like a lot of the things that I did. It was just normal, I guess.
Yep.
Now I'm at the point where the moment you hit print, it's done.
Okay.
To me, it means that you did your best that you could do at that time. Can you do better later? Hopefully, yes. That's the whole idea of all this weirdness of creativity. But then for both me and Keith, we would be like, let's do that for the next one.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not like there's no chance of applying that, but applying it differently.
Awesome.
I don't want to make you mad kind of thing. I'm like, no. If you don't tell me, I'm going to keep doing it. So tell me. Please tell me.
Howard, thank you very much for coming in, talking about Reponaut, of course. Your newest project, Reponaut, with fellow storyteller Keith Grachow. I don't want you to go anywhere because right after this, we're going to get into the world famous D20 questions. So I don't want you to go anywhere. I don't want you to go anywhere. I'm going to get up because I left my questions over there. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. Of course, this is the world famous, if not infamous, D20 segment. Now, you and I have gone over the rules before already. If anyone's curious, the rules will pop up here on the screen. They're popping up, so we don't have to. I don't have to talk about it again. So I'm going to hand you that D20, and you're going to roll it, and we're going to see what happens.
Okay. And we want to place your bets. Let's go.
So I'm going to say 10, 15. You get a silly question.
Okay.
I don't know if you've done so much different. 15, silly question. You've done so many different. You've worked on so many different characters across the board. One thing I don't know of, and you feel free to answer. Have you worked for DC before?
No.
Do you ever want to work for DC?
Yes.
You don't have to answer this question, but I have the silly question here so that everyone knows. I always do a serious and a silly question. This is always, and they are always written for the person. So if you want a job at DC, you might not want to answer. You might not want to answer this question.
We'll see.
Howard, what is one of the characteristics that Superman possesses that is absolutely stupid?
That's a good question, actually. Silly.
I mean, it's a serious question, but at the same time, I mean, like, stupid. I use the word stupid, and that's pretty funny.
Characteristic. Wow, that's a great question. So as we know, Superman has super senses, right? So smell, sight, etc. So he can hear people's cries for help and stuff like. But he would technically hear the whole planet's worth of farts, nonstop, all the time. Because he can't. I don't think he can actually choose and select what he can listen to.
Okay.
Because he'll listen to. He can hear everything, right? So if he can hear everything, every time someone burps, farts, throws up, you can hear all of that. I don't know how you turn that off, right?
So you're saying the super hearing is the stupidest ability? Did I say
characteristic?
I'll take abilities too. That's
but
fine.
The fact is, the characteristic wise that he ignores that. How can you ignore that? Can you imagine like nonstop hearing just in this city alone? Everybody farts 24 hours a day. Like you would wake up in the middle of the night.
He gets up. We're gonna do a dramatization.
Right, like
okay, so Superman's sleeping, right?
Yeah.
And let's say he's with Lois, and he's sleeping.
Exactly.
And he goes, Lois, little Timmy is not feeling well, and he he takes off.
Like I mean, like imagine him being real romantic with Lois, and all he hears, like how can you not like? Why is he not laughing half the time or getting annoyed half the time, right? Like his personality is like, I'm going to be this calm, cool, collected. No, you're not.
He's like, Lois, he's like, I'm sorry, I can't get busy. It's Taco Tuesday.
Right? I mean, his sense of humor is so downplayed that I can't believe because he would have super sense of humor, wouldn't he not?
Super sense of humor? I don't know.
Would he not? I don't know.
That's a great question.
So I said those are the silly, like back to the childhood, the childish kind of things back when you were a kid thinking of. That's what I would think about.
Well, we're adults now. We're laughing at fart jokes, so you can't go wrong. Howard, thank you again for coming to By the Wayside, talking about your creative career, talking about your current book, Reponaut. It's right here. Your current work, Reponaut right here. And I thank you for coming to Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario, and being a part of the show. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for doing the show because not enough people are talking about creativity in the way that you're doing.
Awesome, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate that. Don't go anywhere. There's a little bit left in the show, just like a minute or two, and then I'll end the show. That's it. Bye. Whoa. I almost forgot to end the show completely. When Howard left Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario, I said, I'm just going to take a break. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to have my hot chocolate. And then I went, no, I have to do my closing. Of course, I want to thank, look, I'm wearing my hat. Like, I'm just like, I'm ready to go. I want to thank my guest, Howard Wong, for taking time out of his day, coming to Wayside Comics and Cocktails and talking about all the amazing creative things that he has done in the past. And of course, his newest work, Reponaut. I also want to thank Omar Sayer, the owner and purveyor. Is there another word for purveyor? The owner of Wayside Comics and Cocktails here in Newmarket, Ontario. It's an amazing place for you to buy comic books, get yourself a cocktail from the bar, and of course, find your people, find your community. This is home. It's in Newmarket, Ontario. If you don't live in Newmarket, I encourage you to come check it out. If you live in Newmarket, come and check it out, right? Just come and check it out. I am your host, Jordan Middlebrook. If I didn't say that already, just wanted to make sure. I don't even know if I said that at all during this episode. So I'm going to say it one more time. I am your host, Jordan Middlebrook. Of course, don't forget to check out Wayside Creative. It is the publishing imprint that is from here, Wayside Comics and Cocktails. And it is a female-led publishing imprint that focuses on innovative stories from underserved voices. Thank you very much to Wayside Creative for just being the support that we need, because the mandate of the show is to introduce you to creative people, and the people that have involved themselves in Wayside Creative, hence the name, are creative people. Let's do the social media. I know this is everyone's favorite portion of the show, aside from the D20 questions, I guess. Here's the, what is this called? Social media. Here's the social media. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, website. I encourage you to like, subscribe, follow, share. And that's what I want to do. So you get about 20 seconds of this social media stuff. I've been doing a lot more on TikTok. So that you can only find this stuff on TikTok, most of the stuff. And YouTube is where you find the show. And yeah, I said that was an on purpose. I am a consummate professional, of course. Jordan Middlebrook here. What else did I write? Social media, blah blah blah. You get it. I'm Jordan Middlebrook. I'm the host of the show By the Wayside, whose mandate is to introduce you to creative people, and I will catch you by the wayside.